Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. Just last week, I launched a new house on the market and already it's gone. We had 10 offers. The offers were extremely strong. And the day after we accepted that offer, I had a buyer call me directly and said, "Hey, I'm interested in this house." I said, "I'm so sorry, but we already accepted an offer." And they were extremely disappointed. They said, "We've been having a really tough time. We've been looking for a while. We just keep missing out on things." And I asked them if they're working with an agent, and they said, "No, we're not working with an agent." So they then informed them that, hey, even though you missed the boat on timing on this one, there were 10 offers. So if you didn't have an agent, if you didn't have a strategic plan going into it, even if you had been on top of the market and seen it come on the market the prior week when it first was fresh on the market, there's a good chance that you wouldn't have even been serious competition and even had a shot at getting that. So do keep that in mind, that it is still very much a seller's market. It is very important to not only have representation, but have good, competent representation. In addition to that person who simply did not have representation, missed the boat, out of these 10 offers, I had some really great offers, but I also had some really sloppy, terrible offers that didn't have a shot at it either. So you really want to make sure that you're not only working with an agent, working with the best agent that you can to give you the best shot possible, to give you the biggest advantage, to make sure not only do you get your dream home, but get it at a fair price and take some of that stress and worry out of it. Now, sellers, do be cautious. The market has some ebbs and flows lately. There are a little bit of niches that not everything is just flying off the shelves. But even if you do fall into a market segment where there's extremely high buyer demand, don't be fooled. You could find yourself in a situation where you try to sell the house yourself or hire an inexperienced friend or relative who happens to be a realtor or at least have their real estate license and call themselves a realtor and think, well, I put my house on the market, I sold it pretty quickly, and I got over list price, so I guess everything worked out just fine without me doing my due diligence to get the best agent possible. Now, be cautious, because just because you sold your house quickly and for over list price does not mean you maximized your home's value and got everything out of it that you could. Now, this past week, out of 10 offers, only one of those offers was below the list price. However, there was a big discrepancy between those 9 other offers that were all over the list price. So don't be fooled. It might seem like, hey, you did just fine, but you will not know how much money you really left on the table by not hiring the expert in the area. So that being said, let's get into the stats this week and see what's going on in our local housing market, including Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Mars Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. So we saw 50 homes come on the market this past week. That's a 15% decrease over the prior week. So we were hoping that this post-Memorial Day uptick would stick, but it doesn't seem like that might be the case. We saw the most homes come on the market in Basking Ridge with 12, second place with Randolph with 11, and Morristown in third with 9 homes on the market. We saw about a 50-50 split with towns having an increase in homes on the market this week over last week, and towns having a decrease in homes on the market over the past week. Out of these towns, 46 of these homes were single-family houses, and 10 of them were condos or townhouses. The average list price of these new homes on the market was $1,266,000, and we saw Bernardsville with the highest average list price of $2,110,000, and Chatham close behind at $2,035,000. Average list price is up 22% over the prior week. Total inventory is 274 homes actively on the market. That's an 8% increase over last week. We saw we have the highest number of homes on the market currently in Chatham with 45 homes actively on the market, and Basking Ridge also with 45 homes actively on the market. And close behind is Mendham with 43 homes actively on the market. Sold homes, 48 homes sold this past week. in these towns. We saw a three-way tie for first place between Morristown, Chatham, and Mendham, all with 9 homes selling this past week. Let's see. Average list price this last week was $1,285,000. The average sale price was $1,373,000. So this past week, homes sold on average for 7.4% above list price in these towns. We saw the highest average sale price in Bernardsville with $2.3 million, and then in Harding with $2.2 million. The only town that saw homes sell under list price this past week was Bernardsville. The homes sold 1.8% below list price in Bernardsville. The rest of these towns, homes sold significantly above list price. Everything from 1.4% above list price in Mendham all the way up to 30% above list price in Harding. Days on market for these homes, 24 days on market, which is an 8% decrease over the prior week. And then finally, under contract. We saw 32 homes go under contract this last week. That's 6% less than the prior week. Average list price of those homes was $1,073,000. And they had a median days on market of 51, which is a significant increase over the prior week. But let's see if that was just an outlier or if that will stick. So thanks for checking in with me. Now that we've got some nice hot summer weather, let's see how this affects home buying and selling trends as we have a little bit of a window left in our spring market before we see the summer slowdown that we typically see. We'll see if that actually happens in starting in the middle of July, going in through August to Labor Day. So thanks for checking in with me. Hope you have a great weekend. Catch you guys again next week.